Hello, my name is James McClanahan, and this is going to be my industry case study. I'm going to go over a couple different things about the field that I would love to work in. So let's get started. It's my case study, my career path. So, what is an audio engineer and a producer? Audio engineers work directly with producers to help operate equipment efficiently in a studio setting and a studio environment. One person can't do everything, so it's kind of a you know the two producer and audio engineers work together to make things. One can't operate without the other. So audio engineers and producers also work directly with musicians and actors to get the job done. Can be done from home, in a bedroom setting. Thankfully, technology has advanced enough to where we, even as students at Full Sail, can do all the things we do now in the comfort of our own bedroom. But you could also, do audio engineering or producing in a professional studio setting. It's applicable in the film and music industry, so there's a wide range of work that can be done. Live concerts, audio engineers are needed for setup and tear down, and it's needed in a lot of different commercial businesses. So sports broadcasts, commercials for medications. We talked about concerts, doing live concerts, and festivals and productions like that. So it's not just one field. It's not just music. You can do this in movies. You can do sports broadcast. It's a wide range of stuff that audio engineers are needed for. Why I chose this career, I love movies and I love music, so I thought of what is something that I could do that is applicable to both. Being in the studio is very fun, rewarding as for me as a musician, but also I love almost tinkering with mixes, setting up and working with different types of equipment in a studio setting. Um, it's the career that interests me most, but skills required can vary depending on which industry you're working in. If you're working on a sports broadcast, that can be very different from working in a studio recording music. Movie and film. Uh, Skills that are needed: editing, noise restoration, listening and editing to mixes, and understanding ambiance. Knowing when to let the visual aspect of a movie breathe and not be flooded with too much audio and stuff like that. Is you have to have the right taste for the job. Because at the end of the day, films and music are subjective. Art is subjective. First steps in the beginning of my career, if I choose to pursue film work, well, depending on where life takes me, I would likely have to begin as an apprentice and learn from, veterans within the industry. Um, Film and engineering can be more challenging because you have to evaluate not only just the sound but also the visual aspect of it too. Knowing what's appropriate at what times, solely based off of you know how a movie flows together. Knowing when to, hey, this sound needs to come down because of the this visual or whatever. It needs to be more calm. It doesn't need to be so abrasive. Um, so it's a lot different. You know, it's same kind of same skills can be applied, but there's also more to it. A music audio engineer, skills that are important: microphone knowledge, digital DAW knowledge, so Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, uh, quick thinking and problem solving, structure knowledge. Quick thinking and problem solving is a big one too, because in a live setting, when you have paid tickets and a lot of things can go wrong, knowing how to fix those problems is a big thing in the music industry, in being able to fix them quick. First steps, apprentice work again is very likely, but home mixing work and live sound opportunities are also very common for people starting out in the music industry doing audio engineering. Audio engineers in the music industry usually work hands on with the equipment and setup, while producers work with the musicians to make a certain sound. Um, I personally would like to do both. Both sound very fun to me, whether it's working directly with the equipment or with the musicians. Both sound incredible to me. Um, a large part in being a good producer is understanding how to be a good audio engineer. So this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning is they go hand in hand. You know, they're being a producer and being an audio engineer can be two separate jobs, but understanding how the other one works to have a cohesive relationship with each other is very important. All right, so this is one of the people I chose to research, but this is Paul Boothroyd, and he is best known for his work with Paul McCartney. He has also worked with Michael Jackson, AC/DC, but I chose Paul as one of the examples because he is achieving multiple career goals of mine, such as traveling the world for work, because I love traveling, and job security. You know, having consistent work and a consistent flow of income is, that's what everyone would like. Bob Ezrin is one of my favorite producers of all time. He's best known for his work with Kiss, Alice Cooper, and Pink Floyd. Known for his bombastic, kind of theatrical sound. I chose him to research because he is responsible for his work on Alice Cooper's "Welcome to My Nightmare," which I think is one of the greatest albums of all time. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. 1974, I believe, somewhere around there. So it's old, but it's a classic. Um, I hope to work on albums like that and be able to kind of have a creative edge in the work, in the workflow with other musicians to be able to create like a piece of art. Because the album, a whole album start to finish is kind of a lost art due to like streaming and the way the music industry is now. But I find a lot of fun um, making albums and doing the whole thing rather than just like one song here and there. Education and a degree is not required to be successful in audio engineering, but degree does help you have leverage in a hiring process. Audio arts careers are generally more successful based on the connections that you make within the industry. It's about who you know rather than what you know, but also you do have to know what you're doing. Making connections and building a reputation for yourself is important, but consistent work and job security is, it, it depends on your work ethic. So if you are doing a lot of freelance work, that's all up to you and how many jobs you pursue at once. If working in a studio, taking on more, recording jobs, more hours, really depends on kind of time of the year and touring schedule, stuff like that. And here's my citations. And thank you very much for watching my presentation. I had a lot of fun making this, and thank you for watching.